Young generations have always been the spark for change. With less to lose, no mortgages, no families tying them down, they are bold enough to challenge the status quo. Consider raw energy, unfiltered demands for justice and reform. But as people mature, priorities shift. Stability trumps revolution. You start pushing for tweaks within the system, not total overhauls. Historically, this youth bulge, a massive under 25 demographic, fuels massive unrest. Flashback to the 1970s and 80s. South Korea's student-led marches against authoritarian rule reshaped the nation, driven by a booming young population. Fast forward, and we are seeing similar fire in 2025. Nepal's Gen Z stormed against corruption, burning symbols of power and forcing a government collapse. In Madagascar, youth rage over blackouts and inequality ousted the president, handing reins to the military. These are not isolated. They are demographic destiny in action. But zoom out and the picture changes. Industrialization and city life crush birth rates. Families shrink as costs rise and opportunities urbanize. The US, we are dipping below replacement at about 1.8 kids per woman. Europe's been there for half a century, hovering around 1.4. Even powerhouses like India, 2.0, Mexico, 1.8, Indonesia, 2.1, and Turkey, 1.9, crossed that line years ago, aging out of the protest prime. The result? The global youth bulge is vanishing. Most economic or strategic heavyweights, think China, Brazil, Russia, have matured populations too settled for street-level overthrows. What's left are pockets like Nepal, median age 25, Madagascar, 19, Yemen, 20, Nigeria, 18, and Pakistan, 22, where young majorities still dominate. Here, protests pack punch, because the sheer numbers overwhelm systems. But even these are on borrowed time, as birth rates trend down. So, what does this mean for 2026 geopolitics? Youth-driven upheavals will cluster in these fringe zones, less central to global trade or security, but ripe for instability that spills over. Nigeria's oil-rich unrest could jolt energy markets. Pakistan's demos might inflame Indo-Pak tensions. Yemen's chaos could disrupt Red Sea shipping. Using trend analysis, let's game it out. If Nigeria's youth bulge hits critical mass amid economic woes, we could see a 30 to 40% chance of regime change by mid-2026, echoing Nepal's playbook. Or in Madagascar, post-protest military rule might stabilize short-term but breed resentment, with a 25% risk of counter-uprisings. The big takeaway? As the world grays, freedom movements evolve. From raw youth fury to tech-savvy, cross-generational coalitions. Places like these could become labs for democratic renewal, inspiring global underdogs to fight corruption with innovation, not just crowds. That is the demographic drama unfolding. Youth power fading, but not without a bang. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Where do you see the next big protest wave? Stay ahead of the curve. Thanks for watching The Geopolitical Frontier.